think the difference though, it's like you're not going to lose this all from one part of your body. It's going to be like all over and combined. So it's not like if you have 5 pounds of neck fat, it's just going to like disappear. It's going to come from all over. So it probably won't be quite as drastic looking, but this is still like, how many sticks of butter is this? 5? 5 sticks of butter right here.
A lot.
So yeah.
Hello. I mean, it wouldn't be a fixed blood sugar webinar without something weird happening in the beginning. Welcome, everyone. We are so excited that you're here. This is episode 191, where we talk about all things type 2 diabetes. And today we're going to be chatting about fat and all the different things concerning that. Healthy fats. Do they make you fat? What are good fats? Omega oils and
does this dress make me look fat?
It always say no to that. Anyway, yeah. So, Olivia's back. Awesome, back from her vacation. I want to chat with you, Olivia. You'll have to email me. Okay. Anyway, so looks like we have quite a few people. I think we have 90 people on already. So we're getting started a little bit later. So, if you guys are watching on Zoom, you can ask your questions in the Q&A. That is the best place for us to manage those questions. And YouTube, post in the comments, Facebook, same things. We are so glad you guys are here. There is a replay of this on YouTube. So if you've never seen our YouTube channel, go to bartonwebinar.com. That is where you will find a link to our YouTube channel and all 190 episodes. Oh boy, Joe, what do we got going on here?
Oh, nothing. I just think I'm gonna lose a little belly fat today, if you don't mind. Here,
you got a
lot. Look at that. Topic of the day.
Perfect timing, Joe. All right, I'm gonna
thank you.
Pulled out his belly fat. Dang.
Yeah. There's three weird tricks to lose 5 pounds of fat quickly. We're gonna share them today. One is buy one of these from Amazon and then, have fun with it. No, this is what 5 pounds of fat looks like. Like that's the size of my head or more. So if you can lose 5 pounds, like this is a substantive block of fat. It's a good visual.
That's only 5 pounds? Dang, I could lose 5 pounds in like one day.
I mean, imagine that though. That's one of the beautiful things about the diabetes solution kit. A lot of people do this to reverse their type 2 and in return they're losing weight. So imagine having that 5 extra pounds on your body and losing it. Just 5 pounds, how different you will feel.
This is a 5 pound weight. It's got it right here. And this is a 5 pound weight, but look at the size difference. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
5 days of fasting, boom. This baby melts off your body.
Wow, that's true, huh? 5 days.
Yep.
You lose about a pound a day.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. All right, let's go do a disclaimer here before we get started. Actually, I'm gonna have Dr. Saunders. Would you do that for us today?
Yeah. So the information that we give here is for informational purposes, for general information, for everybody. And it's not specific to you. So you have to figure out if it applies to you properly. And you may need help. You may need like an expert or somebody who knows your situation, who knows your test results and all of that to decide if that is right for you. So make sure you apply the information that we give properly. We are not responsible for improper application of information that we give on this program.
All right, Joe, do you still have that fat by you? For
those
of you just happening on, this is what we're talking about today. We are talking about fat. We're going to talk about the good fat, the bad fat, the ugly fat, all of the fat things. And omegas, we're going to cover it all. And actually, we haven't talked a whole lot about that on this webinar. We do talk about fat loss, but we're gonna dive in. Look at that. I mean, seriously, we're walking around with most of us are walking around with 5 extra pounds of fat, and imagine just having that removed from your body, how different you'll feel.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead.
I think the difference though, it's like you're not going to lose this all from one part of your body. It's going to be like all over and combined. So it's not like if you have 5 pounds of neck fat, it's just going to like disappear. It's going to come from all over. So it probably won't be quite as drastic looking, but this is still like, how many sticks of butter is this? 5? 5 sticks of butter right here.
A lot.
So yeah. So we're going to talk about that today. Eating fat, does it make you fat? We're going to talk about omega-3, 6, 9, all that good stuff, how it relates to blood sugar, diabetes, heart disease. Well, maybe not heart disease, but especially diabetes today. So yeah.
Dr. Saunders, tell us a little bit about eating fat. What does that mean? We hear about it. It seems trendy, especially in the keto diet world. We hear a lot about fat, but what is it? What are we eating?
Okay. Fat is fatty acids and it's oil. Any kind of oil is fat. So people often think of what Joe's holding up as fat, and that's what's in your body. And you trim the fat off the beef, and you think of that as fat. But don't consider that olive oil is fat. Coconut milk, coconut oil is fat. That sesame oil is fat. Whatever other kind of oils you're using, that's fat. And they're fatty acids. And there's a lot of different ways that those fatty acids are put together. And that's why some of them are liquid and some of them are solid. But it's all fat, and it's used by the body in different ways. So what's really interesting about fat is when you eat fat, it doesn't go through your liver. Everything else that you eat has to go through your liver and be processed before it can get to the rest of the body, because the liver detoxes and changes everything. But fat does not. Fat goes into what are called chylomicrons, and then they go into the thoracic duct and go directly into the blood. So when you eat fat, it goes right to your blood, and then it gets taken around and deposited or taken up by cells for energy. And most of us don't realize that a normal person is using 60% of their energy every day is fat, and 40% is sugar. Not most of our energy is sugar. So people think of, oh, the quick energy, the good energy, it's all sugar, right? I need sugar for energy. Don't realize that most of our energy use in a day is fat for most people. Now, if you have insulin resistance, and this is why we bring this up in diabetes, if you have insulin resistance, one of the things that happens, your insulin goes up. Insulin blocks you from using fat for energy. It actually prevents you from using fat and kind of forces your cells to use more sugar. And so because of that, you might have 40% of your energy coming from fat and 60% sugar, or sometimes even worse, it might be 20-80. In which case you're what are called brittle diabetes. Brittle means your energy is like all over the place. Like your sugar's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. And there's no stability. Fat for energy gives you stability. It makes you stable. It makes you even. It's kind of like the difference between have you ever been in a race car and you get nitromethane, for fuel? That's an awesome fuel. You can get so much power out of that fuel, but it overheats the engine, and your engine only lasts for 500, 1,000 miles. Whereas you get a low octane fuel, something like diesel fuel, and a diesel engine is going to run for 1,000,000 miles easy. Why? Well, just because it's like you can go all the way across the country and back, on diesel without even stopping, and it's easy. Whereas nitromethane, there's no way you could do that. It's it's like that kind of thing. So, and that's kind of the difference between sugar, glucose, and fat. Fat is something that is like, it's just going to move you along, and it's powerful, really powerful. In fact, it's more powerful, twice as powerful as sugar, but it's low octane, so it doesn't make a lot of heat. It doesn't make a lot of extra energy. No, it doesn't make a lot of oxygen-free radicals. It just moves you along, keeps you going. Whereas the sugar is like, I got quick energy. I got to think. I got to do stuff. I got fast twitch muscles. I got to run a marathon. No, I got to run a 100-yard dash. You need fast twitch muscles. That is the glucose for energy. It's kind of like the nitromethane. So ideally, what you want is to have that roughly 60-40 split using mostly fat. So what we do is exactly the right thing to do in this kind of a case when you have insulin resistance because you've been eating sugar and fat together. We're going to talk about that in a minute. When you eat sugar and fat together, then your insulin goes up. Now you can't burn fat, and you got all this sugar to burn, and you're only burning sugar, and your sugar's high all the time. Then what do you need to do? Well, you need to reverse that process, and the process of reversing that is phase 1. So if you have the book and you look at phase 1, what is phase 1? You take the sugar out of your diet, no glucose. Just all the glucose, just take it all out so you don't have any glucose. So that now you don't have enough sugar to run your body every day. So your body goes, I need sugar. I need sugar. What am I going to do? And then it starts remembering, oh, you know what? I can burn fat. And then you start to burn fat. And so many people have done this and they've gone, wow, I'm starting to lose weight. Why are you losing weight? It's because you did not have the ability to burn fat, and now you have the ability to burn fat. And so you start using up the fat on your body that you had all this stored fat on your body, and now you can start using it for energy. And it's a good source of energy. It's a really good source of energy. In fact, when you burn fat, it makes ketones. Ketones are what we call the ketogenic diet. That's what you're doing. Keto means ketones. Genic is to make new or to create. So the ketogenic diet, you're creating ketones because you're burning fat. And when you're burning fat and you make those ketones, guess what? Your brain can use those ketones for energy. It's a low octane fuel, again, not like sugar, not like glucose. And all of a sudden your brain starts working better and you go, wow, I can think more clearly. So that's why phase 1 is so important. You gotta, for some people it takes it's quick because they weren't really that far off. But some people, like if you're burning 20% fat and 80% glucose, it's gonna take a while for you to get down to 40% glucose. So you're just giving your body that's all you get is that 40%, so that it's forcing your body to start using more fat for energy. And that's the way it works. Now, why does that happen? Why is fat and sugar such a bad combination? Think about this. If you look at all food, you just look at natural food and you say, okay, fruit, a lot of sugar, right? There's a lot of sugar in fruit, but no fat. And except some fruits, avocado, there's a lot of fat in avocado, but no sugar. Meat, a lot of fat, no sugar. Vegetables of any kind, there's going to be a lot of sugar, no fat, or a lot of fat, no sugar. There are some things like nuts that have both fat and sugar, but the ones that are high in fat, like walnuts, tend to be really low in sugar. The ones that are high in sugar, like cashews, tend to be low in fat. So you don't have anything that has a lot of fat and a lot of sugar in natural foods. And if you think about that, that's kind of a good way to look at how to eat. Is when you get into phase 2 and phase 3 of the program, and you're allowing a little more sugar, don't eat it with fat. If you eat sugar, if you eat glucose, if you're having fruit, then don't have ice cream and don't put whipped cream on your fruit or anything like that, because that adds a bunch of fat to it. If you're going to eat bread, don't put butter on it, or don't put coconut oil or avocado or anything. Have your carbs separate. If you have spaghetti, have a little bit of spaghetti with tomato sauce on it, and don't put like butter and oil, olive oil, and all that on it. Separate them out so that you can have fat, and if you have fat and vegetables together, and then carbs, and you can have like carbs and what other carbs together. So if you have rice, and you have stir fried vegetables or something, then that's you can put those together. So that would be a good way as you're going into phase 2 to separate your fats from your carbohydrates. And the reason for that is because fat makes you resistant to insulin, and carbohydrates cause you to make more insulin. So now you've got a double whammy every time you eat. If you eat something like French fries, fat and carbs, ice cream is the worst fat and carbs, because the fat makes you insulin resistant, and then the carbs cause a big increase, especially the sugar like in ice cream. So avoiding putting those two things together is a really good idea when you're getting into phase 2 and phase 3 of our program.
This is a funny story.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we were at Chick-fil-A like 5 or 6 years ago, and there's this little girl, probably 4 years old. She's eating an ice cream cone, and she's eating, and she looks at her mom like, "I like ice cream, Mom. I like it." And it's just like, wow. Yeah, like ice cream is amazing. It tastes so good, but dang, I wish it could make us healthy, but it doesn't.
I know.
Back in the, not the real old days, but my daughter just reread one of the Laura Ingalls Wilder books. And back then they just used snow and a little bit of, actually, I think they use molasses on it. And I'm like, that'd be a better option probably than the ice cream that we're eating today. But maple syrup, maybe you can find another option for your ice cream. And actually there are options out there. So do some Googling and you can find something that hopefully will be just as good.
So you know what I do for ice cream? I buy a bunch of grapes, and I take them all off, separate them all, take all the grapes off, and freeze them. And frozen grapes are the best ice cream. Or frozen pineapple is good too, as long as it's a ripe pineapple, because when they're unripe, it's not good. Because you have to have something that's like has an intensity of sweetness to it because it's frozen. Yes. So like grapes work really well, and mango works really well. So those are the 3 things that I have instead of ice cream.
And my kids take lemon juice and put it on those grapes and then freeze them. So they're sour.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never tried that. That would be intense. That'd be great.
They love it. It's kind of like a sour Skittle to them, I suppose. That's a big thing. So anyway. All right. There's some fun things for you guys. Let's see. Someone had asked, actually, you know what? I want to quick share this because someone just wrote in a really cool thing here. Brian Zander, Brian, it's been a little while since you've been on. It's so good to see your name pop up. It says, Dr. Saunders, Joe, and Leslie started me on my journey to curing my type 2 diabetes. In 2019, my A1C was 13.4. Last month, A1C 5.6.
Wow.
All prescription drug free. Thank you.
Wow. And 5.6 means he doesn't have diabetes anymore, and he's not even pre-diabetic. That's a normal level.
Way to go, Brian. That's awesome. Love hearing that report. Drug-free, prescription drug-free. That's awesome. Way to go. Thanks for the update, Brian. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. I bet you dropped a few of these on the journey as well. You should let us know how many of these you dropped.
And that's the fun part of our webinar.
70 pounds. He dropped 70 pounds.
That's 14. Yeah.
14 of those.
14 of these fell off your body, Brian. Amazing.
Wow.
That is so cool. Awesome job. And he's not the only one who has amazing stories too. There are a bunch of you on here, I know, who have shared your story. And so I just want to encourage you, if you guys are new, first time you've been on the webinar, or you hopped on and maybe you don't have the diabetes solution kit, which actually, Joe, do you have it in front of you? I had mine sitting here. Now I don't.
I do right here. This is it.
That's what most people are doing. They're using the diabetes solution kit. All of the things that Dr. Saunders teaches us are in this kit, and you can find yours at bartonwebinar.com. I love Velo and Barbie are on, and they always say, if we can do it, anyone can. And actually most everyone who has had success says just dig in, do the hard work, don't make excuses, and see how you change. So that's what most everyone has done. So we're excited. This is so fun. That's my favorite part of doing these webinars, is just hearing from all of you. So one thing we want to talk a little bit about, and Joe actually, I think, can give you a little visual. You're full of visual aids today, Joe. Those little, I think they're omega-3s, possibly.
Oh yeah, we're doing a little research here at the Barton Nutrition Labs. I'm testing about 5 or 6 different brands of omega-3 fatty acids. My favorite so far is this Garden of Life Advanced Omega. It just smells good. It's got a what are they called, creamsicle or dreamsicle kind of a flavoring to it. And some of the other ones I bought had a little bit of a fishy smell. One had a lemon scent, but it didn't quite smell that great. So Dr. Saunders, if you could talk about this as we're working on a new product, omega-3, and I'll get our exact EPA, DHA levels that we're going with right now, but talk about that as a supplement, as in our foods, why it's important, all that.
Okay, so the omega fats, omega oils, are an unsaturated type of oil that we have to eat. When your body makes fat, you always make saturated fat. You can't make any other kind of fat. And guess what? Cows do the same thing. Mammals do the same thing. They have to eat their unsaturated fats. So things like omega-3, omega-6, omega-9. And you have to have them, because without that unsaturated part, and I can explain, saturated means you have this carbon chain of like 14s or 16 or 20 carbons, and they all have hydrogens on them, all across. They're all full of hydrogens, and that is saturated. If you have one that doesn't have a hydrogen and has a double bond instead, that's called unsaturated. So that's what the difference is. And only plants can make those. Animals don't make them, at least mammals don't. And so you have to have them, though. You must have them. So in a sense, they're a vitamin. If you don't eat them, then your body won't function right. You can't make certain things unless you have these omega-3, omega-6, omega-9, things like leukotrienes. Anyway, so the omega-3 tends to make or be required to allow us to make the types of immune mediators that are immune suppressant. They relax the immune system. So, let's start back a little bit. Everything in the body is balanced, right? We're balancing everything. You have to have your estrogen, if you're a woman, balanced with your progesterone. That has to be in constant balance. You have to have your DHEA in balance with your cortisol. Your hormones have to balance. You have 2 sides to your nervous system. You have a sympathetic nervous system that's like the go and high blood pressure, and then you have the parasympathetic nervous system that is calm down, relax, it's okay. Those 2 sides of your nervous system everything has to balance. Well, your immune system also has to have that balance. And the omega-3 has the calm down, relax, you don't have to react to everything. And the omega-6 tends to make more of those immune mediators that are go, get rid of that, kill. So there's those 2 sides. And the problem that we have is that vegetable oils that we use in our cooking and frying foods and all of that are omega-6 oils, and they tend to be like in corn oil 30-1, or soy oil 30-1, or 6-1 in canola oil. So there's a lot of omega-6 to omega-3. So people tend to be inflamed because they have all these inflammatory mediators that are saying, more inflammation, and they don't have as much of the calming effect because they're not getting enough omega-3 oils. So, what's the solution to this? Well, you actually have two solutions. But I want to make it clear: you have two solutions. Either you can keep eating what you're eating with all the omega-6 oils, and then take some extra, like fish oil, omega-3 oils to balance them out, and then they go, okay, we're okay, well, we're balanced, and that actually works. You can lower your blood sugar just by decreasing inflammation by getting more omega-3 oils, and that's, studies have been done. People with diabetes taking omega-3 oils have better balance, better blood sugar than people who don't. So that's a good thing. But remember always that there's another option, and that is to decrease your omega-6 oils and bring balance back to the universe. So those are the two ways of doing it. So we looked at how do we help this, because we're already working on people like in phase 1. We're allowing them to eat a lot of fats. And as part of that, the oils they're going to have extra omega-6 oils. So we just thought it would be good to add in some omega-3s to bring balance to that. Does that make sense?
Does, yeah.
We have to bring balance to the force.
So there's
May the 4th. We passed up May the 4th.
Yeah, happy Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's like the EPA DHA ratio seems to be like 6-4 in that regard, and then there's like DPA. This formula has a little bit of DPA. What is? I can't quite. I should put my glasses on.
Okay. Yeah, those are there's two of them in there that are omega-3 fatty acid. That's the EPA and the DHA. And then the all of the other fatty acids are not omega-3 oils. They're other oils.
Okay. So we're going to be going with 1,000 milligrams per. So 2 soft gels equals 1,000 milligrams, of which 600 is EPA and 400 DHA. So,
correct.
Yeah. So Brian said he had no idea omega-3 can offset omega-6, and yeah, that's interesting because a lot of times you're just adding stuff doesn't necessarily help. But I'm sure you would say it's better to reduce your omega-6s overall, right? And a combination.
Well, yeah, but you also have to have omega-3. So the question is, where are you going to get the omega-3? Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, if you're going to eat more walnuts, that's fine. That's on your diet in phase 1. And all of the vegetables that you're eating. I was reading, let's see, grass has like the cows eat, like cows that are grass fed. They have like 6 times more omega-3 than omega-6. And you don't think of grass as something that's oily, but you know what? Plants make oils too, and they don't have a lot of them, but they do have oils. So that's where the cows get their oil.
So what kind of fat do you get when you drink cow's milk?
Whatever the cow was eating. And that's really interesting because I do test. There's a test called a NutriVal that looks at everybody's, all their different oils. And there's like, 25 different oils all listed and what they've been eating. And I can look at it and say, you've been eating olive oil because you have this omega-9. And I can see this omega-6, you've been getting a lot of vegetable oils. And your DHA, EPA is high, you're probably taking a fish oil capsule. Or if their arachidonic acid is high, then you're eating flax seeds or something like that. So you can just tell what people are eating by looking at their oils. It's pretty amazing. And so whatever the cow ate is what you're getting. If you have milk from a cow, whatever the cow was eating, that's what's in the milk. If you're getting butter, whatever the cow was eating, like we always get the grass-fed butter from Ireland.
Gary Gold.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because, grass, like that's what I said, grass has omega-3 to omega-6, a really good ratio.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the formula we're working on because it's sourced from Norwegian wild caught fish and salmon and different fish. So it's going to be really good. And my Norwegian ancestors would be proud of me. So, but it's going to be a few months till we have that available. So somebody asked if you could repeat the ratios.
It's EPA is 400 milligrams for 2 capsules, and DHA is 600 milligrams for 2 capsules.
600 EPA, 400 DHA. So it's
600 EPA, right, 600 EPA.
Yeah. All right. Well, Leslie, take it away. We got questions.
I know, this is good. I love this. Okay, so lots of questions. I'm going to go back here. I saw one from our friend Anku who is on, and I believe he asked about coffee. Is coffee okay for diabetics? And then I think he had asked, what if I just have it on the weekends?
Well, as far as coffee goes, for all of the research that's been done with coffee, looking for some kind of problem associated with coffee, there is no illness or no problem, including diabetes, specifically associated with coffee. So coffee drinking by itself isn't a problem. However, some people do have issues with if they're stressed out or making a lot of stress hormones and they're adding coffee in, that could be worse. So some people just get nervous from drinking coffee, and those people should just not drink coffee.
Yeah, I know a lot of women. I'm in some women's groups, health groups, and they talk about a lot of women will not eat in the morning, but they'll drink their coffee, and it can mess with their hormones maybe even a little bit too. So I think about that. But good question. I think you got the go ahead there, Anku, assuming you can tolerate it, but okay. Let me see here. Just a reminder, guys, if you are interested in purchasing the Diabetes Solution Kit or any of the supplements, you can do so at bartonwebinar.com or Barton Nutrition, but use code webinar25 and you will save 25%. That is posted in the chat. I think Joe had posted it as well. So Catherine said that doctors want to start me on insulin. What does that mean exactly?
Good question. Okay. If you have type 1 diabetes, if your pancreas is not making insulin, you need insulin. Insulin is necessary for survival. If you don't have insulin, then you can't get glucose and amino acids into your cells, and your cells are going to shrivel up and die, and you're going to die of starvation. So you have to have insulin. So if you're insulin deficient, your doctor should start you on insulin. If you have insulin excess, you should not start on insulin. How do you know? Test. There's 2 tests to do, well, actually 3, but do glucose, hemoglobin A1C, C-peptide, it's just C-peptide, and insulin level. And do those 4 tests, and that'll give you a good idea of how your pancreas is functioning and whether you need to take insulin or not. Because if your insulin level is high, or even if it's normal, just do phase 1 and don't take insulin. If it's high, definitely avoid insulin because you're already really insulin resistant, and then do phase 1. But if it's low, you may need insulin. I have 2 or 3 patients on insulin currently. Because their pancreas just doesn't make enough.
I mean, are doctors giving people insulin without doing these tests?
Yes, all too often the doctors are getting lazy and not doing the test. They go, oh, your blood sugar is high, medications aren't working, we'll just give you insulin. And without actually testing to see if they have a lack of insulin or not.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Onik says, I've been using 25 milligrams of Revlimid daily and 20 milligrams steroid weekly for more than a year. My acid reflux is getting worse and I feel a bump on my right trout all the time. Will any of the following help to decrease my acid reflux? Reflux reliever, healthy gut restore, alkaline water, or ginger?
Okay. Any of those might, but gosh, if you're taking steroids, then you've got a bigger problem than taking those supplements. I think finding out what the bump is, and finding out how to get off steroids and finding out what the underlying problem is, so that so that you can fix the problem. See, the idea is not just to find, oh, I have acid reflux, therefore I should take reflux reliever. It's the purpose is not just to relieve symptoms. The best thing you can do is find out what's the underlying cause. Why is this happening? What is that bump there? What is why are you on those medications? And how could you find another way so that you don't need them? And then how can you stop the acid reflux? So very often stopping the acid reflux is as simple as not eating or drinking anything after 6 o'clock so that you have an empty stomach. Because the empty stomach, you're not going to produce acid and then you won't have the reflux. And that generally works best at night. And then if that doesn't help, you can take the reflux reliever, and that's fine for relief, but still go after the underlying cause, because taking steroids is one reason to have reflux. That'll do it.
All right. Angela said, what is a normal A1C?
Oh, normal A1C, optimal A1C is 5.0. So 4.8 to 5.2, those are great. That's a great range to be in.
All right. Roy says, so is bacon on my hamburger good for my brain? Cycloline or Sitcoline. I lost 10 pounds over my 3-day fast Monday, and I was 300 pounds. Today I'm 289.9.
Wow, that's awesome. So just remember that when you first start fasting, you lose roughly 5 pounds of water. So 3 days of fasting, you lose 10 pounds. A lot of that's water weight, and that's okay. That's fine. Don't knock that. It's still good, because getting rid of the extra water is a good idea too. So the question of the bacon on your hamburger, as far as the fat goes, maybe, except most bacon has sugar in it, so I guess not really.
Well, and also depends on if you're eating it with a bun, I suppose.
Yeah, that's
Makes
true.
a difference too.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrea says, I'm beginning phase 1. Congratulations. She's wondering if she can use lemons. What about lettuce? And what about dried cranberries?
Yeah, lemons, because you don't eat whole lemons. Yeah, lemons do have a lot of sugar in them, by the way. It's kind of, you don't think about it because they're sour and you don't think they're sweet. So, but putting lemon juice on your salads is really good. What was the other? Cucumbers?
Lettuce.
Oh yeah, as much lettuce as you want. That's on the free food list. Yeah, that's all the lettuce you want is good. And what was the
dried cranberries?
Oh, dried cranberries. Okay. So the problem with dried cranberries is they make them into craisins, which is sugar. So, and they have a lot of sugar in them if you look on them. So, if you have dried cranberries, try not to eat the ones that have the sugar, and then stick to your 20 grams. So if you look on one of those little craisin boxes, I looked on one, and I was surprised. It was like 14 grams of sugar in there. So I don't know.
Wow.
It might use up your whole day's supply in one.
Yeah. I mean, if you love craisins, I guess maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Anonymous says, what do you think about all these endless ads over the net that offer all of these gummies that are guaranteed to lose fat mega fast?
Okay. I'm assuming you're talking about the keto gummies, right? That probably, yeah, mega fast, you're gonna lose weight. They're keto gummies. They don't have sugar in them. They do have sweeteners in them, but they're not sugar. And they have all kinds of things. But the basic ingredients are usually apple cider vinegar. Then they have a sweetener, and then they have some beta hydroxybutyrate, and then a medium chain triglyceride, which is made into ketones in your liver. What do I think about them? I think that it's not the answer. I think it's not a solution. And some people do well with them, and that's fine. But you know what's really interesting is when studies are done on these or other like diet pill kinds of things, the answer is always eating less. So when people are taking these things, they eat less. There was actually one right here out of Santa Barbara that was, it was a pill that you take, and it was the magic weight loss pill. And you take it at 6 o'clock, and then you don't eat after that. You don't eat or drink anything after that, so that it'll work all night. And people were losing weight, and they're going, wow, you know, I feel great. I'm losing weight. This is really good. And then the SEC or whatever, the government came in and did a test on it. It was just lactose. It was just a milk sugar. The pill wasn't magical at all. The magic part was people weren't eating at night. That was the magic. So the funny thing is, when they told people it was just a placebo, they go, I still need it. I need that crutch so that I don't eat at night. Anyway, so it all comes down, even with those keto gummies, it all comes down to eating less. And so I still recommend doing phase 1.
All right. Okay, this is a good question. We talk a lot about sugar-free drinks and how your body can still react, or your body sometimes doesn't know the difference if it's sugar or sugar-free. But how about when you're thinking about combining fats and sugar? What are your thoughts about sugar-free foods?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, but still that's the same issue is going to come up. And that is the fat will make you insulin resistant. The artificial sweetener is going to raise your insulin levels. And so you still have the double whammy from the fat sugar combination or the fat artificial sweetener combination. I would assume for most people, and I don't have any studies on that, but that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Okay, Sally says, if you put meat in spaghetti, is that considered fat with sugar and carbs?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh, that's funny. And also, if you're doing phase 1 of the diabetes solution kit, we were talking about this, but if you're on phase 1, if you're doing noodles in spaghetti, you could quickly jump over your daily carb limit of 20 net grams, but maybe you're using vegetable noodles. We don't know.
Yeah, I've had those squash noodles. I've done spaghetti squash. It's really good if you cook them right. It's really good.
Agreed. Yeah, we even have a little restaurant near us, and they give you a whole bunch of options to for this pasta that they make, or you can do bowls, which is a big thing, where you choose your base, and your base can be vegetable rice, like cauliflower rice, zoodles, which are zucchini noodles, or whole bunch of options that are so much better for you. And then you kind of choose what you want for your, the vegetables or hummus or protein, all of that. So lots of options. Boy, 10 years ago, there were not many options, and now it's common. Love it. All right. Okay. Valerie said, I've been on Synachroma for a week and have no more lows in the 3s. My sugars are now in the normal range, 4 to 6 Canadian. Supper sugars are 6 to 7.4. I can't wait to get lab work done at the end of May. They wouldn't add what sugar amounts the pancreas is making. I wondered why.
Yeah, they wouldn't add like the pancreas, like insulin levels, C-peptide. A lot of doctors won't do it. And I've read some review articles. These are like in the medical journals that doctors read. And I've seen some endocrinologists write, oh, don't do insulin levels because you don't need insulin levels. Just work on the sugar and focus on the sugar. And the sugar is important, but I don't think that's the primary focus. People with normal blood sugars and insulin resistance have high insulin, and they already have heart disease, neuropathy, or kidney disease. So, I disagree with that way of looking at it, but a lot of endocrinologists do look at it that way.
Okay. So Stella, this is her first time joining the webinar, and she's a little bit confused about the food combinations to avoid high blood sugar. And I'm assuming, Stella, that you probably don't have the diabetes solution kit, but maybe you do. My recommendation would be to do what that says. But what else maybe would you add, Dr. Saunders? Because I'm sure it is confusing since we're talking about combining fats and sugars.
Okay. So here, so the idea. So first, get it out of your head of trying to lower your blood sugar. That's not really the goal. The really goal is to be normal, and so don't look at it as what am I going to do about high blood sugar. It is, how am I going to get rid of my insulin resistance and just have a normal metabolism so that I can eat fruit once in a while, and I can eat, have ice cream on my birthday or whatever, and I'm not going to have this issue. So what we do here is to reverse the problem so that you don't have the problem anymore. And then that's phase one, is that reversal process. It's a ketogenic diet. Phase two is when you're adding things in, and that's where we were talking about don't mix your carbs and fats, because you're going to eat more carbs, but you'll be able to tolerate a lot more carbs and not get back into insulin resistance. Like, we've had several people on this program say, oh yeah, I did it, I got normal again, and then I went back to eating my normal way, and I gained the weight back again. So I just went back on phase one again and went through the whole process again. And that's okay too. That's not a problem. But when we were talking about the fat and the carb combining was really phase two, because phase one, you don't have a lot of carbs to combine. So that's why.
Kind of a follow-up to this, Brian said, since December 1st, when my A1C was 6.8, I have lost 30 pounds. And as of 2 days ago, my A1C is 5.8. But my eyes are often blurry in the early morning hours after waking up. Do I need to continue phase one of the diabetes solution kit, or should I now move on to two?
Since you're not normal, I would stay on phase one. Stay on phase one until your hemoglobin A1C is like less than 5.6. Or if you're measuring your daily blood glucose, if it's under 100 every morning, because I don't know what the blurred vision could mean. Your blood sugars are fluctuating or something like that. That's a possibility.
Okay. Can you start and stop insulin at any time?
Actually, you always do start and stop insulin every time. Your pancreas starts and stops insulin every time. You eat, it goes up, and then 10 minutes later, it can be down to normal again, or zero, essentially. So the answer to that question is yes, but if you don't have a pancreas to make insulin, then you have to have some way of getting insulin. So.
Okay. Kathy said, how long can I stay on phase one? Also, I was told the reason my thyroid is hypo is because I dieted so much in my youth and teens. Would that be true?
I don't know. Hypothyroid, stress often is more related to hypothyroid because the adrenal glands affect the thyroid glands a lot. And most of the time when I find people that are hypothyroid, it's not because of a thyroid problem, it's because of an adrenal problem. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Okay. Gloria said, my grandson is a type 1 diabetic, 7 years old, and just recently got diagnosed with, it says ADH, but I wonder if it's ADHD.
Yeah.
His moods are all over. What will be the best approach so he does not have to be so dependent on so much insulin?
Oh, that's a great, just a no sugar at all. Just take them off sugar. Like no processed sugar, no artificial sweeteners. And that's what you want to be is stable. And remember, we were talking about fats today. You want your body to burn 60% fat and 40% sugar. So if you're giving sugar to someone who has type 1 diabetes and needs insulin, that's not a good combination. Yeah, you just avoid any sugar at all, and that'll stabilize a lot. You want that fat burning to be the majority of the majority of energy should come from fat to give stability.
All right. Brian said, unless I'm mistaken, phase 1 is only temporary. It is restrictive. Just put in the work and get it done. And then you can move to phase 2 and beyond. Just do it. Love it.
Love it.
Vincent says, does Nervala tackle frozen feet and hands?
Maybe. It depends. If it's a neuropathy problem and the nerves are causing the cold hands and feet, then that's a possibility. If it's a metabolism problem and your hands are icy all the time because you're just not generating enough energy, enough heat in your body to maintain your body heat, that's a different issue altogether. That's where you do the Wim Hof method. If it's a thyroid problem, then you have to deal with the thyroid. So depending on what the cause is, if it's the nerves, yes, Nervala will help. Everybody wants a pill, but you know what? The pills aren't the answer. The answer is to find the underlying cause and fix it.
Yes. Good stuff. That's why we love Dr. Saunders, because he wants to get to the root of the issues. He doesn't want the cover up.
Well, sometimes the pills are needed. Like, when you have neuropathy and diabetes, you have to fix your diabetes and you have to take the pill. You also need to repair your nerves.
Yes. Good question from Marty. Why does my blood sugar go up after a shower?
Your blood sugar goes up after a shower. Why does your blood sugar go up after a shower? I don't know. Are you taking cold showers and getting high cortisol levels that are making you insulin resistant and make your blood sugar go high?
It could be too hot too. Maybe you're in there and it's too hot for too long.
Well,
that could probably do stuff.
The parasympathetic nervous system is the relaxation one, and that can that causes glucagon. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, and you know what? We're going to end here. This is well, I'm going to ask this question. Angela says, "What is phase 1?"
Okay, get the book, because it's not really about phase 1. Start from the beginning and go through what is your why, and go through, answer all the questions and write it out and go through, okay, I'm making a change in my life. And it's not just about doing phase 1. It's not just about controlling blood sugar. It's about, something that I call repentance. Repentance means turning around. You know what? I used to do things this way, and now I do things a different way. And changing the way I do things. And you know what? I've done that. I was a sugar monster or a sugaraholic when I was a kid. And gosh, I had Skittles in my car every day. I was like munching them. And I had, I didn't get diabetes. I started gaining weight and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what to do. So I turned it around quickly, but nevertheless, it's not just about doing phase 1 and getting it normal. So that people often do that. They say, I want to take a diet pill, lose the weight so I can get back to eating and living my lifestyle the way I always live. Well, that's just going to put you back where you were, right? So go through the steps, get the book, get the online book, write everything out, go through all the questions at the beginning, and then go into phase 1 and find out what it is. But I'll tell you what phase 1 is. It's a ketogenic diet. You can only eat 20 grams of carbs a day. If you've ever read the Atkins diet, the intake part, the first 2 weeks of the Atkins diet is a 20-gram carbohydrate diet. It's a similar kind of thing. Only we don't put like, you can have like all the fats and proteins. We've added a lot of free foods, so that it's more, you can have more vegetables, salads, and avocados and good things for you. So that's what phase 1 is. It's a ketogenic diet.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Saunders. Go bless your patients today. We're thankful that you were here.
I hope I
See you
can.
tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Another thing that Dr. Saunders talks about a lot too, yes, it is a ketogenic diet, but another really big trigger that can keep your blood sugar numbers high is stress. And so we've done quite a few webinars on that. And that is a big thing to dig into as well. So if you haven't seen our webinars on that, go to our YouTube channel, which you can find a link for that at bartonwebinar.com. Go look at our channel and look at the episodes that we've done on stress. And Dr. Saunders has lots of stories of patients who have been in stressful situations or even were living with a relative and didn't know that that was the reason that their blood sugars were so high. The relative moves out, blood sugar went down. Funny how that works. Not saying you need to kick your in-laws out. That wasn't what the message was here, but stress is very, very important, an important thing to recognize. So 190 episodes for you guys to go back and watch. Ooh. So yes, just a great resource for you all. So I think that is it. Oh, actually, Joe, can you hold up your diabetes solution kit one more time?
Sure.
Mine is behind me, but there it is. So that is the hard copy, guys. We've had a bunch of you asking about it. That you can get at bartonwebinar.com, but you can also get the downloadable version right away within minutes, sent to your email. And you can look at it however you could probably print it out, I guess, but it's $19.97 for the downloadable version. If you would like to get it printed and shipped to you, that is another charge, but it can be yours today. So I know a lot of you haven't seen this before. Go to bartonwebinar.com, and then I want you to use code webinar25 to save 25% on that.
Yes, and on page 69, you can learn about mulberry. We haven't talked about mulberry very much, but yeah. Studies show that mulberry powder or mulberry leaf extract are inhibitors of enzymes that would otherwise turn loose too much glucose in the blood. Just one of many tidbits of facts that you can learn inside.
Did we add that to something, or where was that? I'm trying to remember that.
It's really long. Benfotiamine, fenugreek seeds, Gymnema sylvestre. It's a great name. 124 pages of great reading material in here. You can bring it with you to the grocery store. You got a meal planner, grocery list, all sorts of good stuff.
You know what? One thing I'm going to mention to you guys too, because this came in, we have a group on Facebook. It's a private group, bartonwebinar.com. Or I'm sorry, Barton Webinar on Facebook. Is that what it's called? I'm having to memorize all these things now, and now I got to second guess myself. I think it's Barton Webinar.
Yeah, if you search Facebook, they'll find us on Barton Webinar. Yeah.
But join that group because people are asking questions, sharing advice, all of that kind of stuff. But someone had asked today, someone is helping their husband to do the diabetes solution kit. And she wondered what the best way was to slowly move on to phase 2 or managing all of the foods. You know, what's the easiest way to make this real simple? And one of my recommendations that I've learned from all of you guys on the webinar is to just take two or three meals that you know you like for breakfast and say, okay, here are the 2 meals I love for breakfast. Here's 2 meals I love for lunch. And here's 2 meals that I love for dinner. And just know that you always have those ingredients in your home. You can always make those 2 meals and then slowly add another one in there and see how you feel, see if you like it, make it simple, right? That's the way that I work best, is just to know these are my safe ones and these are the things I like. And then I'll experiment with other things. But that would be my recommendation if you're just getting started, because we have really good recipes in that diabetes solution kit. Just look at some of those, or Google, if you know you love eggs, Google some fun recipes with eggs that are low carb. Anything else?
Roy just mentioned it's great to see folks from all over the world, UK, Australia, and Germany, South Africa. So yes, that is awesome. We love to have, I wonder what time it is in Australia. Oh, you know what? I have to go. That's my vet calling. My cat got neutered today. So bye.
Bye. Okay, so someone just posted Barton Publishing natural health recipes. Yes. Okay, so that is our main Facebook page. There is also a private group called Barton Webinar or webinars. And I'll actually have to approve you to join that group, but head there and be a part of that. Join in the conversation. That's your little community. I saw somebody in the chat say, "Hey, Brian, I'd love to chat with you more about how you reversed your numbers or did so well." That's a great place to go to. That's where you guys can share your information with everyone. Okay, I'm here by myself. What should I talk about? I'm just kidding. This has been good, guys. Thanks so much for coming. We're here each week, same time, 1 p.m. Central on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have another webinar now, our Healthy Heart webinar. So if you haven't registered for that, go to bartonwebinar.com. You can register for that. And that is another free webinar where we focus on heart health. That one is at 12 noon Central. All right. Come back next week, guys. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.